Hello, my name is Uwe, I work for Steinberg, and today I'd like to show you Wavelab 8.5. 8.5, our latest release, offers 4 new main features, which I'd like to present you in the next few minutes. The first one is basically the so-called Encoder Checker. The Encoder Checker can be loaded into a new slot into our master section. We had the slots effects, master level, dithering before, and now we have a new slot after dithering, the so-called post-processing slot, where I can load the Encoder Checker. In the Encoder Checker, I can load up to 3 encoded types of MP3 or, let's say, AAC, which is already the second new feature, or any other supported compressed format like OGG and so on. I can listen to the encoded material in real time. This can make a lot of sense. Before we had the situation, you have your music, it sounds very good, you're satisfied with it, you want to export it as an MP3 to load it up to your record company or to iTunes or whatever. But after exporting to MP3, maybe it can happen that your music doesn't sound good anymore. So what you need to do, you need to open the MP3 again or your WAV file, make some adjustments, export again as an MP3, and again and again and again until your MP3 sounds acceptable. Now with the new version of Wavelab 8.5, you can listen in real time to your encoded material. This is an extreme time saver. I've just loaded 3 codecs into my post-encoder checker. Let's just listen to the original sound in comparison to the lame encoder with 32 kbps, the new iTunes AAC codec, and OGG. I hope you can hear the difference. That's the original sound. Let's switch to the lame encoder, which isn't bad at all, but I've chosen a very high compression rate. I think it's quite obvious. You can hear the difference. For iTunes plus ACC, I guess you won't hear any difference at all. You can see this also in the spectrum display. It shows you the original file in green and the encoded material in red. So the bigger the difference, the worse the sound. In addition, we offer also a blind encoder and a blind encoder with original sound, so an AB and ABX check. If I click on blind encoder, I get some question marks and I can rate my music just by hitting the plus and minus keys. With the arrow keys I switch to other codecs without knowing which one, and with the plus key or the minus key I can rate them. And once I'm done, I click again on my encoder checker and you can see the results. This could be interesting for schools or for game shows. So there are a lot of opportunities.
Probably very prime-time TV, I'd imagine that.
Yes, like The Voice in the UK. Yeah? I already can see Kylie using the encoder checker.
Britain's got a codec.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's not Kylie's codec. Sorry. So these are just a few possibilities of the encoder checker, but I'd like to mention one more of the encoder checker. For me, the most important feature of the encoder checker, you can, of course, like in any other plugin, set the monitoring point. Once you've clicked this little button, your audio material will be analyzed after the encoder checker. This makes sense because encoded material could clip an MP3 of your highly compressed audio file, could be louder than the original. In some places we could have intersample peaks and some other things to check this and to avoid clipping, we can set the monitoring point after the encoder checker to make our adjustments if intersample peaks occur. Right. Very, very useful in the pro
I've
sector.
I've never seen it. The only time I ever saw this is a couple of years ago. There was a Fraunhofer product, but it was really specialised and really expensive. It seems like a great idea.
Yes, there is the competitor with similar functions. I don't want to use name dropping here, but yes, there's another quite expensive product on the market, and this one you get within Wavelab for free. The update from 8.0 to 8.5 will cost around about, in pounds, I don't know, it's 30, 35 pounds. In euro it's 49.99. So it's really, really cheap. And it's not only this encoder checker part of the update, so it's worth the price. Yeah. And it's very, very useful, especially if you use compressed material, like we all do, who's buying records or CDs these days. We buy from iTunes. That's why we integrated the AAC codec, which was a little bit expensive for us. We had to pay some taxes.
Yeah, gotta get the license.
Exactly. So it's really a benefit. These were already two of the four main functions. Let me continue with the third one. Right now I'm in an audio montage, and I could export all my files as separate audio files. Or let's say, in this case, to save some time, just 3 of them. I would like to export these 3 files. I just click on render, and what you see now here is that I can choose more than one file format as a result. Let me edit this multi-format dialog, and you see I have already created a preset to export 3 different file formats. In this case, WAV, MP3, and AAC. I could add even more. Let's say WAV 24-bit and so on, or FLAC or whatever, any kind of format that's supported by Wavelab, and I can export all these formats in one go. That's an extreme time saver, because nowadays at least you need to export in 3 formats, always, WAV, MP3 and AAC.
And it avoids the temptation to tweak something between exports, which is what always
Yes,
happens.
Nick, definitely. Yes, definitely. And it's an extreme time saver. You don't need to export again and again and again. You set it up and export in one go. Different file formats.
So this would be useful also for batch processing and
yes,
game audio or asset delivery, all sorts of things.
This audio file format export, this multi-file format export, is of course available in every workspace of Wavelab, which includes, as you mentioned, the batch processor. And thank you for throwing the ball to me. Let me switch to the batch processor, which offers the fourth extremely useful new feature. We integrated something we call watch folders. You know already that you can add plugins to your plugin chain and drop an entire folder to the list to be processed. But now we can even close Wavelab. Let me quit it. Okay, and now let me demonstrate you. I have this watch folder. I've closed Wavelab. Now let me choose just some audio files from my desktop. I drag and drop it to the watch folder. Let's see what happens. It created a temporary folder, and the result is an output folder and a source folder. In the source folder, you find the audio file that I dragged and dropped to this watch folder. And the interesting thing, in my output folder, you find the processed material, an MP3 and a WAV file, processed through my maximizer, limiter, stereo enhancer, all those processes that I
So is that
set
running
up.
as a daemon or something inside the operating system?
Exactly, it runs like another Wavelab instance in the background. And what is even more interesting is you can use it in a network. If you have a company and you can just define a folder in a network as a watch folder, or more than one folders with different jobs, and someone of the marketing department could drop a file to the folder, and someone else from the sales department in another country could access this folder.
On an FTP server, all sorts of things.
Yes, all of those things are.
I mean, with
possible.
video, I'm used to watch folders and what jobs and processes.
Yes, I've heard this, that in the video sector it's quite common, but I think in the audio feature it's unique.
Yeah.
And it's very, very useful. You can just turn on your computer and automatically process your files through watch folders. And the setup is very, very easy. There's not much of a dialogue, you just click on which folder, run, and that's basically all.
Right, and does that work? It's not working on folder actions or anything like that, it's a separate process?
It's a separate Wavelab running in the background. If you have a look to this tray icon, there's nothing else than just another instance of Wavelab running in the background.
But it's without an interface? So
it's without an interface, exactly. That's basically all.
Only this?
Only this 4 features for only €49.99 in Euro.
Right, and this is available now, right?
No, unfortunately not in June. Okay. But if you buy the update now, you are entitled for a free update to 8.5. So I want to say if you buy the update to 8.0, or if you buy a full version of 8.0 right now, of course you get 8.5 for free when it's out in June. It's a so-called grace period.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.